Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk. It is Saturday, July 15, 2023. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. Coming up in the show, we'll be talking about the Reggae Boyz and their Gold Cup disappointment. I feel like a lot of us were optimistic that we'd at least get to the final, having the best squad in the tournament. Even though some people might debate that, but losing 3-0 to Mexico earlier this week in the semifinals, which means that the Drought continues to win that Gold Cup title. So after the 1:15 break, you'll be hearing from head coach Hermie Hallgrimsson, who spoke following that defeat at a media press conference. And then after the 1:30 break, we'll be joined by Giovanni Brady, sports content creator, to talk about the Reggae Boyz and to get his thoughts on the performance against Mexico and where we go from here. But also to talk about the top moments from the National Senior and Athletics Championships. Now, last time when we were here, um, Friday's finals took place. That's where Sharika Jackson, she ran 10.65, becoming the fifth fastest woman of all time. And also the 100 meters for men and the 400s. But remember, Saturday and Sunday, we also had some spectacular performances again from Sharika, because she blazed in the 200 meters. Didn't need to run the 200 because she does have the bye, but she stunned nonetheless. And we saw Shelly and Fraser Price for the first time this season. Running in that 200-meter heat and also the final. So we'll get Giovanni's thoughts on some of those performances and some of his favorite performances from the senior trials. Remember, as always, there are several ways to listen and watch the show. Firstly, good afternoon to everybody on YouTube and Facebook. If you're watching on Love FM's pages, truly appreciative of you. Hello, good afternoon or good morning, good evening, wherever you are. However, if you want to listen to the show, you can do that on radio 101.1 all the way to 101.9, depending on where you are in Jamaica. So if you feel like love not so clear on 101.5 or zero point 0.7, you can switch, because trust me, the signal large. So wherever you are on the island, just scroll through to get the best signal possible. Or you can download the Love FM app in your Google Play or Apple Store, depending on what smart device you have, and then I will be live there. Or you can go in your internet browser, love101.org, and everything will be clear right there. So great show lined up for you, so hope that you enjoy it. So my monologue, which I call the Danielog, is coming up very shortly, but as always, I like to start with the sports bits, which is the mini sports report. And I don't know why I put this as the first story, but I'm going to read it anyways. The West Indies, their 20-year wait for a test win against India was extended after they were crushed by an innings and 141 runs inside 3 days at Windsor Park in Dominica in the first test on Friday. The Indians resuming their first innings at 312 for 2, declared at 421 for 5, in reply to a mere 150 made by the West Indies. Needing 271 for the Indians to bat again, the Windies were routed for a mere 130 in less than 51 overs. So the fourth and fifth days of the test should have taken place on Saturday and Sunday, but I don't wrong the Indians. Get a nice beach day, go around Dominica, enjoy yourself, enjoy the food. Why not? It's not like you're going to get much of a competition from the West Indies anyway, so might as well enjoy it, right? The second test bowls off on Thursday at the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad and Tobago. Craig Brathwaite, in his post-match interview, was saying that he hopes for for a better pitch because it was very spin friendly, which is why the Indians dominated like that. But I mean, I don't think it matters which pitch the West Indies play India on. They're gonna get battered. Anyway, so Jamaica's national 100 and 200 meter champion, Shericka Jackson, she will go head to head with American sprint star Sha'Carri Richardson in Sunday's Diamond League in Poland on Sunday. Jackson became the fifth fastest woman in history, as well as the world leader with 10.65 seconds at the National Stadium last Friday. While American Richardson clocked the second fastest time this year at America's trials with 10.71. If you remember, Sha'Carri did that 10.71 on the Thursday, and then Shericka, she ran the 10.65 on Friday. So Sha'Carri was the fastest woman in the world this year, but Shericka, she just needed 24 hours to take back that slot. They have, that's Jackson and Sha'Carri, combined for 7 of the world's 10 fastest times this year. So that's pretty impressive. So that showdown should be quite interesting. Shasha Lee Forbes, who booked her spot to the World Champs last week, is also down to compete in the event. In the men's 100 meters, Akeem Blake, Johan Blake, and the new star Kishane Thompson will battle reigning world champion Fred Curley and the new American champion Cravant Charleston. Other Jamaicans down to compete on Sunday's Diamond League are Megan Tapper and Daniel Williams in the sprint hurdles, Candice McLeod and Cherokee Young in the 400 meters, Shanika Ricketts in the triple jump, and Lamara Distin in the high jump. Now, Reggae Girls head coach Lauren Donaldson believes more work needs to be done ahead of next Sunday's opening game of the FIFA Women's World Cup. The Jamaican women are now in Australia following a brief training camp in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Donaldson said he wanted to have more practice games, but they'll continue working on fine-tuning their tactics. On Sunday, July 23, that's next Sunday, the 43rd ranked girls will face 5th ranked France in Group F, then Panama on the 29th, and 8th ranked Brazil on August 2. On Sunday, that is tomorrow, they will play a practice match or a warm-up game against Morocco, which Donaldson believes will help to lock in their strategy for efficient execution in Australia. And finally, 4 Sunshine Girls have been named in the Suncorp Super Netball Team of the Year. The goal shooter position is occupied by the GOAT, Janelle Fowler of dethroned champions West Coast Fever, while Latanya Wilson of newly crowned champions Adelaide Thunderbirds was selected for the wing defense role, and her teammate Shamira Sterling takes the goalkeeper position, while Jodian Ward of the Collingwood Magpies was chosen at goal defense. Sterling and Wilson helped the Adelaide Thunderbirds to their first Suncorp title last weekend with a nail-biting victory over the Swifts in the grand final. So Jamaicans doing it big over there in Australia, and they are getting ready for the Netball World Cup, which happens later this month. They left the island on Friday. So all the best to the Sunshine Girls. Okay, so it is time for this.
Connection established. It's time for Daniel's weekly monologue.
I'm Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm Dave Blake.
I'm Hope Blake.
I'm David Blake.
And it's time for the Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
I will love it. And I think I deserve it.
So, Elaine Thompson-Herah won't be running an individual event at the World Championships this year, and it might be unlikely that she runs the relays, as she finished 5th in the women's 100-meter final. Thompson-Herah, I think this is the first time where she's healthy that she won't run an individual event for Jamaica since 2014, because 2015 she made the team. 2016, 17, 19 the Olympics and last year at the World Championships. But this time around, she won't. So I don't know if you all saw the article, an exclusive from Sportsmax, because remember the argument is that Elaine shouldn't have left MVP and she should return. No, Stephen Francis, when he was asked if he would welcome back Thompson Hero, said, quote, no. The way she left and the comments that she made and the fact that she has yet to accredit any member of the MVP staff who paid her a lot of attention and went through a lot of sacrifice to get her healthy enough run and to do what she did in 2021. She didn't say anything about that from MVP. No, that never sits well with us. Even if she had said, thanks to MVP, I'm really grateful, we would have been fine. But right now, I would take back any of my former athletes, but not her. No. End quote. There was also a poll released earlier this week by the media professionals where they polled over 2,000 people who said, I think 49% said that she shouldn't have left MVP. I think 20 or 30% said they weren't sure, and a very short percent had said, yeah. But this is the thing, and this isn't just with Elaine, but with athletes and maybe us in our personal lives. Burning bridges doesn't always help us. I mean, in some cases, some bridges have to be burnt. But when you think about Elaine's situation, she became a star at MVP. What Stephen Francis, Paul Francis, and the entire team at MVP did with her. She became a star because of them. No, I'm not saying that Elaine didn't have talent herself, but obviously she needed someone to harness that talent, and MVP did that. Since her departure, as Stephen Francis said, she never really big up nobody from MVP, or, she really tried to burn that bridge from the outset, right? Or from the outside looking in. In cases like this, I'm not saying that she should return to MVP or she shouldn't, but I believe that your options, should always remain open. When you look on Shelley and Fraser Price, for example, she left MVP at one point and then she returned and then she left again. But anytime you ask Shelley about her time with Stephen Francis, you'll never hear her say a bad thing about the time there. Asafa Powell, once the fastest man in the world, he left MVP, but if you hear him talk right now, he still has very high regard for Stephen Francis and the MVP track club. And I could go on and on because there have been several athletes who have left MVP, but they've made sure not to burn that bridge, even in their retirement. So maybe behind closed doors, they might say things, who knows? But just a lesson for everybody. Try not to burn bridges that you may need to cross in the future. I know in the moment it might be bad, whatever happens in sports or in your personal life, depending on what happened. But just really think about it. Like, make sure that you aren't just making an emotional decision and you go out and you talk bad about X or Y or anything like that, because there might come a point where you might be like, I wonder if I can go back. So, do I personally want to see Elaine back with MVP? I mean, it's neither here nor there. I think my personal opinion, once Elaine is fit, I think she needs to get in a situation with an experienced coach who can take her back to that level, because no disrespect to her husband and whoever has been conditioning her over the last um, few seasons since she's left. I don't think that program has worked. And even an unfit Elaine, or an Elaine who has struggled with injury, I still don't think that Elaine, if she had a better coach, would finish fifth. An off day Elaine is still a 10-9, 10-8 runner, if you ask me. But yeah, try not to burn bridges. Even if you don't plan to go back, just don't burn the bridge. Because in life, you'll never know. In life, you'll never know. And speaking of never know, you never know what the Reggae Boyz are going to come up with. And unfortunately, they didn't come up with a win against Mexico in the semifinals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. We will hear from head coach Heimer Hallgrimson after that defeat, as their very long wait for a Gold Cup title goes on. So stay with us right here on Sports Talk.
With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy, all in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far. My Mega Mart, best value by far.
Have you just finished grade 11? Looking for a 2-year sixth form pathway to earn overseas local certificate, diploma, and advanced diploma and get qualified to work locally and internationally? Register now. Start free sixth form at IIRQ Academy. Start our new sixth form program online or face-to-face classes in September. Choose between pathway 1, 2, or 3. Paid for by the Ministry of Education. For more information, call 876-322-4029 or visit 32 Hope Road, Kingston, or 1 Perry Road, Montego Bay. Website www.iirq.org.
Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on Love 101, you're invited to listen to Good Morning Minister, a weekly feature where government ministers will speak about the developments in their various ministries. Listen for the updates and have your questions and concerns ready to share inside Good Morning Minister as the Minister of Information, Robert Nesta Morgan, and a guest minister or agency head discuss the issues and take your questions and suggestions. Get ready to call in during Good Morning Minister, 11 a.m. on Wednesdays, right here on Love 101, the family station.
Good Morning Minister is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The station of choice, above the noise. Love 101. The family station.
It is 1:20 here in Kingston, Jamaica. Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101. Thank you to Abraham Hines, who is listening, who's watching from New York, and Angela Williams also listening from New York as well. So thank you so much for watching. I love everybody from everywhere. I don't want to make it seem like I love when overseas people watch or listen. But I appreciate everybody who listens. And by the way, remember, you can stay in touch with me on 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. That is our WhatsApp number. You can give me your thoughts on the Reggae Boyz performance, what you think went wrong. If you're optimistic going forward, just leave your comments there, or tell me what were some of your favorite performances from the National Senior Championships, whether it was from Sharika, even though Shelly never win, the men's 100 with Watson and Ford, if you know the hurdles were your thing with Megan Tapper, Rashawn Clark stunning. So you have a lot to message about. So 876-997-3125. Or if you are on YouTube and Facebook, you can leave it in the comment section and we will ensure to read that on air. And Barrington Morris saying listening from New York as well. So thank you so much for that. The Reggae Boyz unfortunately weren't able to make the Gold Cup final, going down 3-0 to Mexico. Now, for those who were watching, there was a lot of optimism heading into the game, but even more so after Panama stunned the US on penalties, because even though Panama are a good team, let's not try and make it seem like Panama aren't a good team. But you know, the psychological thing, playing USA, it has usually not been great for Jamaica. So when we saw Panama win, we were like, oh, this is interesting. This is maybe our chance. But inside the first 2 minutes, Mexico scored, and then it was all downhill from there. Jamaica didn't create many chances. And even though we did make the last four, some people felt it wasn't good enough. Coach Hamir Hallgrimson would definitely agree with you. We will now play his press conference following that defeat as he took questions from the media.
I know it's a tough defeat tonight, but what are some of the positive things that you can take from this Gold Cup experience and then apply to this next World Cup cycle?
Well, I think we grew as a team. We know more about each other, both on the pitch and off the pitch. I think that is a good experience for us to have spent this. It's almost 5 weeks now together. So from like a 10 days in pre-camp for the Gold Cup. So they have learned more about me, my strengths and weaknesses, and we have learned about the players. So, and then partnerships within the team has grown. So it's hard to say it after a loss like this that we have improved as a team, but I'm going to say it anyway. Yeah, and I think the future for Jamaica national team is bright if we do it in a correct way and continue to do it in a correct way.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, Coach. Robert Williams, IRA FM Jamaica. In 362 minutes of football, Jamaica avoided conceding a goal in the first half. After 2 minutes today, we were down, or Jamaica was down 1-0. What happened today? Because 28 minutes after that, there was another. What went wrong?
Yeah, let's give Mexico a big credit today. I think they were much fresher than us on the day, to be fair. And congratulations to Mexico to qualify for the final match. For us, it was always tough to concede a goal in the first minute. So it's kind of a slap in the face to have it, and it comes after our set piece. They break forward and score. Then I think it took us some time to grow into the game, because it was such a blow and was not according to the game plan. Of course, you don't plan to concede in the first minute, but I think we grew into the game. The second goal is again from our set play, and they have a break up the pitch, have a free kick, and I was just watching the goal on TV. It's a fantastic shot, and it's hard to say we could have done anything from that free kick. So 2-0 at half time and a fresh Mexico team. I think though, second half, we gave them a match. We came strong in, we showed a lot of character, we got some chances, and we put up a more fight against them. I think we kind of respected them a little bit too much in the first half, or it was tired legs, probably. But second half, we showed a lot of character. And the third goal is just we are forcing everyone forward to try to get this game-changing goal. And of course, we are open at the back. And the third goal is, it could always happen if we didn't score our goal. So, it's a hard defeat to take, but we try to look at the positives and see what we can use to work on in the future.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Coach. Jose del Valle from ESPN. I think Jamaica tonight had the better players, but collectively, your guys weren't able to execute. Why was that? What was key?
No, like I said, I think it was. Now it's difficult to analyze these things. They played more collectively. I agree with that. The things they did, they succeeded in the things they were trying to do. I think we were a little bit too individual when we were attacking. So I think your analysis is correct. Why? No, that's a deeper answer. So I think your analysis is kind of spot on. We didn't move the ball well in the first half. Collective defending was not as quick and aggressive as we have shown. But second half, we changed it, so we were more aggressive, and then we kind of matched them at least.
Please go ahead.
Hello, Coach. Kashmir Gomez here for ESPN. What message can give Jamaica today to the other national teams in CONCACAF that at this moment has not increasing his level, like Costa Rica, El Salvador, that his presentation are not so well like Jamaica in this Gold Cup? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think we are sending any message to the others. We're just trying to focus on ourselves. So yeah, I think it's a beginning of hopefully a successful journey for Jamaica until 2026. Like we said, we wanted to win it. We wanted to win this competition, but we are thinking long term, not short term. And like I said, I don't know what the others are doing, so I cannot talk about the other teams. Sorry.
Okay, now we'll take some questions from the media who have joined us virtually. Please, Rachid Partment.
Yes, hello, Coach. After Jordan, friendly against Jordan, we spoke about balls into the box, balls across the face of goal and defending them. We saw some issues with it again tonight, especially marking the player in the 6-yard area. We spoke about it almost a month ago. How much work is there still to be done on this? And also, Ethan Pinnock, he didn't join the squad. We heard about some personal issues, but he played for Brentford today in a friendly. What happened there? Why he turned off for Brentford and not Jamaica? Thank you.
We start with defending crosses. I think what we did poorly, and when they had free crosses, then it's difficult to stop the players, especially when you don't take the time factor out of the cross. It's difficult to defend it. But from defending in general crosses, I don't know if I agree with that we defended that poorly, but I will have to look at that again. Pinnock is, and we talked about it very openly. Normally it's just personal reasons, but we explained why he didn't or couldn't come and join us. We were hoping all the time that he would come at some point, but it's easier to go and play in England when you are in England than coming to USA and spend a week or 10 days and then leaving your family. that needs your support, but you can always go a day or two, or a few hours to play a game in England. So that is understandable. There's no grudge from us to Ethan. He was really considering coming if his circumstances were better, and we of course wouldn't have selected him if he wasn't coming. But things happen in life that is bigger than football, and we have all the respect for Ethan.
Please, Livington Scott, go ahead. Livington Scott.
It's only yours.
Sorry. Yes, coach. Evening.
Evening.
My concern is tonight's game. We seem a bit lacking in midfield. Think the game tonight could have done with a competent ball handler like Ravel, Tariq Magee, and in my opinion, even probably Daniel Jans, who was to me probably our best, most composed ball handler and distributor of the ball in the games that I saw. I think the game itself could have done with a midfielder that could have taken charge of the game in the middle of the park.
Yeah, we probably would have needed to add in a midfielder if we look at the game, but I respect your opinion on other players, but these were the players that we picked. I think in general, just collectively, both defending and attacking, we were not as good as we have been, but let's also give credit to Mexico. We haven't played as good team as Mexico was in this game until now.
Please go ahead, last question.
Thank you. Paul Nicholson, Inside World Football. You obviously got probably the most exciting attacking front three, or probably front four. Somehow it doesn't quite seem to be joining up. Do you think you're getting closer to get them to join up and to link, or is that still a work in progress?
Yeah, it's of course still a work in progress. So some of these guys are playing with Jamaica for the first time. Like Demi is playing for the first time for Jamaica. So both knowing the tactics, knowing the teammates, etc., will improve. I know that for a fact. So I hope so, at least that it will improve. But let's see. And I agree. This is a really exciting front line when you look at it. But it needs to be collective, of course. So they need to do other things as well, not only be exciting going forward.
That was Reggae Boyz head coach Heimir Hallgrimsson following the Reggae Boyz 3-0 defeat to the Mexicans in the semifinals of the Gold Cup earlier this week. It was actually his first competitive loss as a coach, because the Gold Cup was his first set of competitive games. The Mexico game earlier in the Nations League in March was his first competitive game. That ended 2-2. Would have preferred to see a performance like that, but unfortunately it wasn't so. So the Reggae Boyz, they will now move on to the CONCACAF Nations League and then the World Cup qualifiers as they look to qualify for the World Cup in 2026. Which happens in our region, USA, Canada, and Mexico. So the pathway should be a lot easier to qualify. But then this is Jamaica, so I'm hoping that things will be a little different this time around. We take a break. We'll continue our discussions right after this.
To real fruit.
Say hello to no sugar added.
Say hello to delicious.
Say hello to Tropicana.
Naturally sweetened, no artificial coloring.
Now that's something I can get with.
Tropicana, here to make your day brighter. Tropicana, real fruit my way.
Dreams fruit my way, my way.
Win over $1 million in cash and prizes in the Yummy Summer Competition. Purchase any 4 different Yummy pastries. Write your name and number on your receipt. Send in with your Yummy salesman or drop off at the nearest supermarket or Yummy agency. 28 weekly prizes, 4 winners every week, plus grand draw August 28th for a laptop. $60,000, $30,000, plus a Yummy basket and back-to-school vouchers. Grand prize, a family weekend for 4 at the Holiday Inn. It's the Yummy Summer Competition, authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Let's get up and go. Time to explore.
Sablamar, one already, and the love bus is holding steady. Beckford Plaza, Sablamar, here we come. One bag of happiness and one woolly of fun. Yup. Saturday, July 15 from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're making it big for Jehovah as we come rub shoulders with you, Sablamar. We are come from far. Deidre, you ready?
Girl, we have been enjoying the love as we roam the cities and towns, and I know for sure when we hit Sablamar, our leap of love will abound. We ready, oh?
That is it. Kimberly, what you are saying?
Oh, yes. And I'm looking forward to the fun galore that we have to share. So Beckford Plaza Sablamar, have no fear. Love is coming loud and strong. Hold on a little while. It won't be long.
Wow. So just how can you miss this? DJ Rebirth will be spinning the mix. How's it going, Rebirth?
Like a sweet love melody. The music hits you just right when you have enough got in the spins. So Sav, make sure you roll out in your numbers, because I'm ready for this. The question is, are you ready?
Make it Beckford Plaza in Sablamar and enjoy the ministry from Goddess. It's the Love 101 FM's 30th anniversary edition of I Love Summer. Saturday, July 15, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Beckford Plaza, Sablamar. It's a good night, so till you look down.
I love it, 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 I love it.
Morning time. Get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer, this Monday, July 17. Listen throughout the show for tips on how to become the best version of who you are in the feature Becoming You. Grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with Morning Coffee Pick Me Up Devotional at 6 a.m. Then cruise with love on your radio at 7 a.m. inside Drive Time Jammings with great music to lift your day. This week on Being Jamaican, we discuss things Jamaicans take seriously. 8:30 a.m. inside The Healthy Way, we discuss Candle Syndrome. Then at 9:30 a.m. is Something More, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. Stick and stay with us. This Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101. Celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
No, I see it done.
The station of choice, above the noise. Love 101. The family station.
This is Asafa Powell, one of the fastest men in the world, and you're listening to Love 101, your family station.
Approaching 1:40 here inside Sports Talk. Welcome back. Still on the Reggae Boyz, just for a brief period. They lost 3-0 to Mexico in the semifinals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. We're now going to be joined by sports content creator Giovanni Brady to talk about that, and then later on some of the top moments from the National Senior Championships. Giovanni, welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, listeners and viewers.
All right. So, as we've been mentioning, Mexico getting the better of Jamaica 3-0. What would you say went wrong for the Reggae Boyz? Because, like a lot of people have been saying, it's a very good squad. But what went wrong on Wednesday?
I think what went wrong on Wednesday was something that we probably would have been seeing for a longer period than just Wednesday. I think during the group stages, the Reggae Boyz, there was a lot of chemistry to a certain degree, I believe. I think Mexico is a very good team. When you see the Mexicans play, they look like a team that has been playing for a long time. I think Reggae Boyz is still lacking some of that chemistry. Some of the pieces are new, so that can be expected. And I think probably big players in the squad or in the team, probably trying to do a bit too much, not keeping the game as simple as it can be. And I think the long balls, if one Jamaica has complained about the long balls, every single one has complained about it. Getting the ball and just looking to boot the field sometimes. So I think that's a part of the issue with the Reggae Boyz, with the team. But I do think that there were some positives. And I haven't asked that question yet, but Coach Hallgrims is speaking about building relationships going into the rest of the tournament and getting some key pieces. Damari Gray, Amari Bell, by no means new Amari Bell, but probably getting to be in the tournament and building some chemistry with Damari Gray, Dexter Lembiki, Salati Badir, those guys committing to the project from early in what ultimately I think should be a World Cup cycle. We looking to qualify for the next World Cup. So yeah, but as I say, we Jamaica, I know people are saying that we're a physical team and we should lean into the physicality, but I think at the Gold Cup level at least, I want to see some more cohesiveness with the ball at foot. I think that's a big issue for us.
One of the major criticisms that has been happening on social media and in traditional media is of Leon Bailey, who is, I guess, the star of the team, even though we have attracted players like Gray and Antonio recently. But a lot of people feel let down by some of his performances. Why do you think that he hasn't been able to reach those heights that people expect of him? Do you think it's because of the way he plays, or maybe his own issues subconsciously, knowing that he has the team to carry on his back? What do you think is really holding him back from giving us some of those great performances that we know he can do?
So I think personally, when I watch Leon Bailey play with the Reggae Boyz, I feel like he maybe tries to do a bit too much. He kind of overcomplicates the game to a certain extent, and that isn't good. I think there's a lot of talent in Leon Bailey. I think he's a very savvy player. Dribble, can take the player on one-on-one. If he wants to, he can pick a pass. Even though at the club level that isn't really his game, but he does have the ability and talent. But again, I don't think in the tournament we saw him just doing too much. Trying too hard to probably be the main man or carry the team on his back. And I think, ultimately it went against him. You look at Damari Gray, who is a player that has maybe as much talent as a Leon Bailey, if not more talent than a Leon Bailey. And you see how he plays. There's just a difference with his decision making. Damari Gray always seems to make the right decision. He dribbles when he needs to dribble. He moves into space when he needs to move into space. He links play when he needs to link play. But Leon, on the other hand, he just always seems to be trying to dribble. And I think the frustrating thing is there are moments when you see Leon Bailey do something and you think to yourself, yeah, man, this is the version we need. There was a moment in the second half against Mexico where he got the ball. He made a dribble, dropped his shoulders twice. He found Antonio on the opposite wing, and Antonio crossed into the box. And Shamar Nicholson barely didn't get onto the end, but it was very encouraging play. And you see that and you think to yourself, like, yeah, we need that. But I don't know what it is. He just needs to fit into the system and not try to fit out. I think right now he tries to fit out. I think that's an issue. Talented player he may be, but he needs to fit into the team, and not overdo it, not try to do too much.
Yeah, fit out is a very interesting term to use, but that's a very good one to use as well. Final question before we get into the senior championships. Hallgrimson has been here for almost a year, started with that opening game against Argentina. Can't really fault him there. But with all the games that you have seen him so far, are you confident that he is the right man to take us to the World Cup?
Yeah, I have no issue with Hallgrimson, if I'm being honest with you. I think after that first game, I think his first game was against, was it Mexico away? No, his first game was against Argentina away, and we lost that game. And I recall him playing against Mexico and so on. And then there were those two garbage games in Jamaica, which really, he was just trying to see some players against Trinidad and Tobago, one in Mobile, one in Kingston. So I personally, I followed his Iceland team. I remember watching his Iceland team at 2018 World Cup against Argentina, Messi, Sergio Aguero, Di Maria. They were a very good, very cohesive unit. If that is a glimpse of what we can get from him, from the Reggae Boyz, I'm all for it. I think it's still early in his tenure, and I think a lot of his tenure so far has really been spent, trying to see what he has to work with. And I think the 4-4-2, a lot of people don't like the 4-4-2 system, but the fact that he has stuck to that system so far means that he's trying to build something. And I mean, one example I always use is like you look in the English Premier League with Brentford. Brentford don't really play pretty football, but they play a brand of football that they have gotten used to, and it brings them results. So it's the same thing with Jamaica. I don't want to say I want to see Jamaica play like 2009 Barcelona prime tiki taka, but what I want to see is a system and something that as a fan I can identify with and say, okay, this is Jamaican football, and it should look cohesive. It shouldn't look all over the place. There shouldn't be some big gaps between midfield and defense and some big gaps between the forward line and defensive line, and every man just out there doing their own thing. No. So personally, to answer your question, yeah, I think he's the right man for the job. I think it's early. I've seen some good stuff. In the first game against USA, I remember hearing him shout to the players to press, a modern way of football, modern way of thinking. I think we give him until this. Personally, I'm giving him until December. We have Nations League in September. So, and rumor has it that there are some more players who should come into the Reggae Boyz setup. Let's see who those guys are. So, I want to see what he does in September, but I think it's too early. And I think I like what I've seen. The last thing I'll say is that I think this tournament again was a success. Getting the players in, getting to gel with them. I think the semi-finals, yeah, we could have won, but there are some good things that I saw. So I just want to see what he can do going forward.
For sure. We have to take one more break before we get into the senior championships discussion. So Giovanni will stay with us, but we take a very short break here on Sports Talk. Remember, 876-997-3125. Tell us some of your favorite moments from the National Senior Championships. We will be right back.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco. Bashco. For everything where you need. Bash quality service guaranteed and Bashco. Bashco. Store that gives you more. Yeah, Bashco. Get furniture for your house, there's linen, everything for your kitchen, rocks, hubs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
There's certain moments in life you'll cherish forever. Like buying your first car, stepping into your first home, sending your child to university, starting that business you've always dreamed of. These are your great moments, and helping you achieve them is ours. Call Chris and Charles today. We have a loan for all the great moments in your life. Powering great moments since 1992. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
My Jamaican people, it's the third staging of the Jamaica Gospel Star competition. Your votes will help to decide the 2023 winner. Tune into CVM TV, PBCJ, and JCDC's Facebook and YouTube platforms for 3 nail-biting episodes, Sunday, July 9, 16, and 23 at 8 p.m. to see your favorite gospel star. Then join us on Wednesday, August 2 at 7 p.m. to see who will take the title of Jamaica's next gospel star. Remember, vote for your favorite. This year's staging is powered by the Chase Fund.
Hi, I'm Shelly Ann Fraser Price, and you're listening to Love FM, the family station.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101, approaching 150. So we have around less than 10 minutes to go. Let me just read Barrington's comment on the WhatsApp line, even though it is about the Reggae Boyz. He said, I purchased 2 Reggae Boyz shirts and I was disappointed when they didn't advance to the final. And while Mexico and US have always done well, I believe we have the caliber or pedigree of players that could have defeated both teams. I think there might be a psychological barrier the boys need to break through when going up against Mexico and USA. I hope the management, like former manager Captain Borrell or former president Captain Borrell, can engage corporate Jamaica to push the team forward and having them play more games to help build cohesiveness. So that is from Barrington in New York. And because we're now going to move into the national senior discussions, Carolyn on WhatsApp sending pictures of her on over the weekend, last weekend. She has pictures with Shelly, Sharika, Candice McLeod. This is Yannick Thompson and Natoya Gould. She said that she loved the men's and women's 400 and 100-meter hurdles. Awesome performances. Also, Giovanni, he was inside the National Stadium. I don't know if you have any pictures like Caroline, but I'm sure that you enjoyed what you saw.
I have pictures, videos, I have so much stuff.
That's fantastic. I need to invest in a good camera for myself. But anyways, so we had some great performances, obviously highlighted by Sherika, both in the 100 and 200. But I want to know if you have a favorite performance outside of that before we get into Sherika.
All right, so I think there are a lot of good performances. I think someone that stood out to me, by the way, listeners, I do a vlog on YouTube, G Talk Sports, but we'll soon get into that. Someone that really stood out to me was Natasha Morrison. I mean, Natasha Morrison is someone that has been on the scene for a long time. I remember in 2015, she did well during the 4x1 at national trial at the World Championships, cleaning up Daphne Shippers and Alison Felix on that second leg. She looks as good as she has ever looked this season, and she came third, beating out Elaine right behind Sasha Lee Forbes and Sherika Jackson. So I think that's a very good story, a very down-to-earth girl, and she has put in the work. She's gotten her rewards for that. I think the men's discus field events don't often get a lot of hype, but in the field, in the discus, we have 3 throwers who should be going or who are going to the World Championships. We have Frederick Dakers, we have Stoner, and we also have Travis Michael, all 3 going to the World Championships. Now, if you compare our time to the US time, our throws rather to the US throws, our throws are, better. We've set better records. And when you look at the favorites for that competition at the World Championships, you realize that you have Stahl of Slovenia and you have Che of Sweden. But outside of those 2 persons, really and truly, our 3 guys are as good as any and should be able to get a medal to the men's discus. I'm looking forward to. And Jaden Hibbert, the young wonder kid, the young long jumper. Yeah, man, very much excited to see what he can do. World under 20 record in the long jump. Very promising athlete out of Arkansas. So I'm really looking forward to see, those 2 events, what can happen. And Jenny Ross, I mean, I could just call names. There's so many athletes who have done very well at these championships, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, some spectacular performances on Rashawn Clark, one of my favorites. Didn't expect him to be a national champion this early in his career, but hey, better him do it now than wait years after. Sherika Jackson, she didn't need to run the 200 at all, as everybody should know. She has a bye going into the World Championships, but in that final, running sub 22, and it was one of my favorite races because Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce had arguably one of the best 100 meters of a 200 I've seen in quite a while, yet Sherika won that race pretty easily. How impressed were you over 4 days with Sherika and just the whole world record argument? Do you think that this is the year when those records go?
All right, so Sherika Jackson, very interesting proposition. But her time was 21.5 was her time? 21.5 something was her time, if I remember correctly.
21.65, I believe.
21.6, yes, man. 21.65 was her time. Sherika Jackson, the world record, there's been a lot of whispers about the world record. When Sherika Jackson just got into the shorter sprints, she wasn't necessarily a full sprinter as yet. This is her second year at MVP, and we know what MVP does to athletes. We know what Coach Francis does to athletes. I've heard that Coach Francis say if you give him someone running 10.50, a male that is in 100, he can get them down to sub 10 seconds easily. So he has a lot. He has a reputation. Sherika Jackson, last 2 years, again, I said at MVP, she has worked on her start. She's a better start out of the blocks now than she was before. I mean, I'm not going to say that she must or will break the record, but it's very interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. And I don't think it's impossible. I think that's one to watch out for at this World Championships to see what she does. Sherika Jackson, though, outside of even the 200, she's just in phenomenal form. World lead in the 100 meters. Sha'Carri Richardson in the United States seems to be, a close competitor for her. Let's see what Shelly can do as well, defending champion. Never count out Shelly. But the world record for the 200, I think it's definitely on the cards. I mean, you don't just snap your fingers and get a world record like that. But there is some time going into the World Championship, and if she has a good run the right day, I think that record could go.
Yeah, we just have a few minutes to go. For those who may not have been seeing your content like I have, this is your chance to plug it so that everybody can follow you and see your quality work.
Okay. All right. I'm Giovanni Brady, as you have introduced me, as digital sports content creator. I'm really into sports. I love sports. I'm sorry about that. I love sports. Sports is a passion for me. And I've been delving into the freelance space. Sports. I want to get into sports. Well, I'm into sports marketing. Sports content. So visiting the Jamaica Premier League, national trials, other track events. Talking to our athletes, trying to provide a different angle, doing vlogs and so on. The type of content that may be prevalent overseas and is not prevalent in Jamaica. I'm really trying to build that community. I know there are a lot of sports fans out there who maybe want to see another angle, another side, another type of content. So it's my intention to kind of bring that to the fore, to bring fans to the fore, to bring fans beyond the lines. If you would have followed my vlogs from over the last weekend at the national trial, you'd have seen me inside the athletes village, getting the athletes training, all of that, getting the moments before the 200 meter, before Sharika mash up the place on the 100 meter, as she say, on social media, and in the 200. So yeah, if you want to find me on social, it's Geo Talks Sports, Geo_Talks_Sports on Instagram, and just Geo Talks Sports on all other platforms. YouTube, YouTube is where all the good stuff is. So I definitely suggest you guys go and check out the YouTube, and if you like what you see, subscribe, share, comment, that type of stuff.
I want to ensure that I make sure your underscore button really working, because if it don't, you might not find it. But Gio, thank you so much for giving your insight, and hope that we will have you back very shortly.
No problem. Looking forward to it, yeah, man.
All right, that is Giovanni Brady there, digital and sports content creator, talking about some of the top performances at the National Senior Championships, as well as his thoughts on the Reggae Boyz going down to Mexico in the semi-final of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. That's all the time that we have here on Sports Talk today. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, left messages. We truly appreciate your time. Remember, Sports Talk happens every Saturday afternoon right here on Love 101 from 1 to 2 p.m. Until then, please stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and as always, watch some sports.